I'm Ebong.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Kate, and thank you so much for Christina for joining us today.
This is a pleasure.
Christina is filling in. And today
we're dishing with you from Napoleon Bistro Lounge, which is located at 1847 Columbia Road in Adams Morgan.
And today we have an extremely special guest. He is known maybe around the country, but most popularly right here as our Redskin. Our Redskin, former, I hate that word, wide receiver for the Redskins, Gary
just
Clark.
Say legendary or something.
Legendary.
That's a nice way of saying
You know
old.
what?
Let's
That's
say
how
old
I
is a nice way. The former old guy.
Our old receiver.
We got the old guy on the show.
Good,
Thanks for
so
that.
you hate former as much as I do. I hate it when they call me that.
Legendary just sounds more sexy. At least be a little sexy with it.
Right,
Old,
man about
I got this
town.
old guy here that no one else in the country knows. That's basically what you said. Thanks
That's
a lot.
totally not what I said. I
But
said
you-
everybody
I love
knows
you,
you.
Katie. I love you anyhow, though. It's okay.
So the reason everybody knows you, other than your charismatic personality and your hot looks, is the Redskins. You made the Redskins great. I'm going to just say that right here on the show. You made the Redskins great. How did it feel to be a Redskin? And now that they're playing, how does it feel to not be on the field?
Well, it's good and bad. I mean, as a former player, you always want to be on the field. You always think you can do certain things on the field that allows them to become better. But also, as a former player, you don't have to get hit anymore, and that's really good too because
And training camp and
the training the 4 weeks, but their training camp this year wasn't as bad. You know, the families got to come out, they got to go home.
That's true.
There's
That's
no
true.
curfew. It was like a little different thing for the veteran players. So, as the league evolves, so do certain rituals that we have 4 weeks in Carlisle, and it was hell.
So hell in what sense? And from what I've heard on the radio, you guys had it was like a nightmare living in dorms.
It's dorms. It's kind of like it's dorms. It's just with guys all the time. There's no females around whatsoever. But from the standpoint of it, it's also a good thing because you start to bond
Sure.
a lot better because you are with those guys all the time. And you start to bond in certain ways that you don't even realize it until probably you're out of the game, that it made you a much closer and a much better team. So you had your players back when you was on the field at all times, and that's important. So I think you should always have that type of training camp, quite honestly.
Now, you played a couple of sports when you were in college. Why did football stand out? Why did you decide to become a pro football player?
Because my jump shot in college was I thought about being a two sport player in college. I wanted to play basketball because that was my love, that was my passion. And once I got to college, I realized that I wasn't as good as everybody on the college team, and I should just stick to football because that was what I was better at, as opposed to I couldn't slam dunk. So I mean, you can't slam dunk. You're 5'9" and you can't slam dunk. You're not gonna play professional basketball.
What's your alma mater?
JMU, James
Oh,
Madison
okay, I didn't know
Board.
that. Oh,
It's the best school in Virginia.
And best school in Virginia. Well, you have to feel special because yours was the very first jersey retired at JMU. Did you know that?
I did know that. I was there. I was there for the ceremony, and I was very fortunate. And but probably the most popular guy from JMU is actually a former Cowboy and a former 49ers. But we're happy to have him from JMU because he has the most Super Bowl rings ever won in the NFL. It's a JMU boy by the name of Charles Haley. He won 3 with Dallas and 2 with San Francisco.
So how many Super Bowl rings do you have?
I have 2, but the last 2 that's been won here in Washington. So I was very fortunate to play under Coach Joe Gibbs, best coach ever, and also players who understood it was about working hard and coming out with a win. A W is the most important thing at the end of the day.
And you don't wear them now? I would.
I wear
that big one right there.
Look, I didn't see it. Wow, now
I wear the one. I bought
that's
it
why you
just-
couldn't see his
I bought
right
it
arm
just
because it's
for
so
you.
heavy.
Right.
Just for you, but I wear one. It's the first one I got. It's when Doug Williams was quarterback, Super Bowl 22. And this is the one that I wear anytime I do some type of appearance or engagement.
That looks like a heavy ring.
It's a great paperweight,
You
but
can
I
hurt
have
somebody.
like very little hands, which I probably shouldn't be saying, but it'll probably fit you perfectly without having to.
Wow.
My feet aren't that big either. It sucks
This
for me.
is
What
a
can I
serious
say?
piece of bling.
But it's a good paperweight.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
heavy.
Nothing
Wow,
else.
holy
So
cow.
after you played football for how many years?
I played for a total of 11 years.
11
12 and a half if you count the United States football league.
Okay, definitely, 12 and a half.
Yes.
And then you decided to retire.
I didn't really decide to retire. It was probably best for my body if I did.
Well,
I didn't run as fast anymore.
Right.
It was best for your future career that you retire. And why didn't you think about coaching?
Coaching is it's a special position, especially in the league. Like, I don't know if I have the mentality to become a coach. I would expect a lot of things that today's players may or may not would like coming from me, and I'm the type of guy that I don't really back down from a lot of things. So,
What do you mean by mentality, though, in that sense?
mentality-wise, in terms of high school, it's about how you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
College is about how you play the game. Sandlot Pee Wee is about how you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is about winning.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about I want
That's
a W
true.
at the end of the day.
True.
We're not in high school. We're not in college anymore.
Yeah.
You got to go and you got to do the game. You got to prepare for the game. It's your job.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
working now. In college, you're doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it's fun if you win. It's not fun if you lose. And my mentality was such in the era that I grew up in. It was about winning. It wasn't about losing or how you play the game. Sportsmanship is good from the college levels all the way down from high school, Sandlot, and Pee Wee. You should have that sportsmanship. But if we lost a football game, I'd be damned if I was going to shake somebody's hand at the end of the game. I was upset about us losing a football game. I wanted to focus on correcting the mistakes that were made on my part for that game and for the team's part on that game, and how do we get past this so we don't make those mistakes again. I'm not happy. I'm not trying to. I'll celebrate with those guys, and we'll talk trash back and forth in the offseason. But I'm not shaking Charles Saley's hand when he played for the Cowboys if they beat us that day. Now, if we won, I was the first one over. Don't get me wrong. I was the first one trying to shake his hand, but that's also a posturing that's done for players in the league. It's who has who has the rep, like who has bragging rights. I want to have bragging rights.
So I guess what you would tell the players today is not that sportsmanship's important, but that all that's important is the W at the end of the day?
It's important from the levels from college down, from Pee Wee level to high school level to that part. But when you're actually playing the game at this level, no, it's about the W.
But-
You need to think about what you've done at the end of the day. You should not be laughing at the end of a loss. There's nothing funny about what you've just done. And today's player, a lot of times, and it's just my opinion, that's the opinion of everyone, it's my opinion, I had to get prepared, especially if I had a bad game. If I had a bad game and you caught me laughing, you needed to put your foot in my rear end, because I shouldn't be laughing. I just had a bad game. I was part of the reason why we lost. There's nothing good about that.
Do you think how players behave off the field is important? Do you think it's, I mean, they're public figures, but as you said, it's also a job, and it's a rare job, that people really care what you do after hours.
I think it is important to how they act off the field, but also I want people to realize that they are just individuals like everybody else, so they're gonna have the same problems as your corporate banker has, as opposed, or your janitor has. They'll have the same problems as they have.
Well, Gary, we've loved learning about you off the field. We loved watching you on the field, but we've loved learning about you off the field. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. You was only 4 when I was playing, but thank you for saying that anyway.
And we look forward to seeing all of the great things that you are doing in the future.
Thank you.
You keep watching Gary and keep watching us right here on the District Dish.